All right, so Dana White went on an announcement spree last night, and we have a number of fights announced for UFC 314 and 315. So let's talk about it before we do. My name's Rahul J. Chand. This is the Battle Camp. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. So look, man, when I woke up this morning and I saw all of these fights being announced and the graphics from UFC's Twitter page, I was like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? I was like, what? I didn't know that. If you know what the reference to what I've just said is, put it in the comments below. But anyway, look, man. Volkanovski against Lopez. Chandler against Paddy Pimblett. Patricio Pitbull makes his UFC debut against Yair Rodriguez at UFC 314. Blimey. So Volkanovski against Lopez for the title, the featherweight title. I was like, when did this happen? When did Topuria decide that he no longer wants to be the featherweight champion and he's vacating? I was like sitting there trying to work it out, connect the dots. And then I watched Dana White's video, and apparently he can't make weight anymore at featherweight, so he's moving up. Now look, personally, I don't believe that it's a weight issue. I just feel as if he wants to move up to lightweight. I saw a little clip of him on a podcast or like a TV show talking about Islam Makhachev. So I think that fight is already agreed, because why would you as a fighter vacate your belt, lose the opportunity to earn pay-per-view points as a champion, and move up to lightweight without a plan in place? Is there a plan in place for this? Like it wouldn't, like, if that's what's happening, then his manager needs to be sacked. First round management. Malky Kawa needs to have a look in the mirror if that's what's going on, right? Because he's given up his pay-per-view points to go and fight like a top 10 lightweight. I personally believe that he's doing this on the promise that he gets a title shot. Obviously, Islam Makhachev is the champion at lightweight, and Ilia's been talking about fighting Islam, so maybe that's what the genesis of that conversation is. It might even go further back a couple of weeks when Arman was supposed to face Islam, and then obviously he had to pull out, and Dana White's response to all of it was he's not going to get an immediate title shot, he's got to fight his way back. Maybe because the conversations of Ilia moving up were already in the works, so maybe in Dana's head he already knows that Ilia's getting the next shot. That's what I think. That would make the most sense to me as a businessman. I'm not a businessman, but that's just what would make most sense to me as someone that has been watching this sport for fucking nearly 20 years now. I'm going to come back onto Ilia Topuria. I'm not going to talk about the fights individually. We can do individual previews for these cards closer to the time, because obviously UFC 314 is all the way in April, so we've got plenty of time for people to pull out, get injured, and not actually fight on this card, right? You got Chandler and Pimblett. So this is actually a real good crossroads fight for both of them. It's Pimblett's first top 10 opponent, and he's earned it, man. His last couple of performances, he's been better than I thought he could. He's better than I thought he could be at his peak, given his first few performances in the organization. Like, he's actually genuinely, in my opinion, improved a lot. And Michael Chandler, if he's ever going to see anyone at the top, he's got to dispatch of people like Paddy Pimblett. Do you know what I mean? And Michael Chandler is well into his 30s. What is he, 35, 36? Let's check his Wikipedia page together as a family. He's 38. He's my age. In fact, he's older than me. He's older than me by 2.5 months. Fucking hell. So if he's going to continue operating at the top of the lightweight division, he's got to beat people like Paddy Pimblett. So that's a intriguing, interesting fight. And obviously Patricio Pitbull makes his debut against Yair Rodriguez, which should be a highly entertaining, full octane fight. I saw on social media, maybe this week or last week, I saw that Yair Rodriguez is due to fight our boy. And when I say our boy, like, you guys should know who I'm thinking about. I'm talking about Arnold Allen. And I don't know whether that fight was agreed or not. It was probably just hearsay and rumours on social media. But there was a post where they said Yair Rodriguez to face Arnold Allen. And then Arnold Allen responded to it saying, you guys could have found a better picture of me, because the picture they used was him all like bruised up and blood coming out his nose and stuff like that. So in my head, I thought, oh, okay, well, that fight's done then. Clearly not. Clearly not. So totally unrelated, but I'd be interested to see who Arnold Allen actually fights. Moving on to UFC 315, you got Bilal Muhammad against Jack Della Maddalena, my favorite name on the roster. So obviously JDM was supposed to fight Leon Edwards in London, so he's been moved off of that card to face Bilal, and obviously Bilal was supposed to fight Shafkat. During the first time the fight was scheduled, Bilal was injured. They tried to schedule it again. This time Shafkat's injured. It looks as though Shafkat will definitely get the next title shot, according to Dana White, but obviously these things are always fluid. It might change. But Jack finally gets a reward for the impressive performances he's been putting in over the last few years. Now, just some kind of my own personal interest. You guys probably won't be as invested in this, but as a Leon Edwards fan, he's probably my favourite fighter on the roster. I'm a little bit concerned for him against Sean Brady in London. It's like a month's notice. I'm assuming he probably knew about this change a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, or some time ago. But Sean Brady is obviously a very different fighter to JDM. And his strengths are what Leon Edwards tends to struggle with, because when Edwards comes up against someone that's grapple and wrestling heavy, it makes him more tentative to throw strikes, because obviously he's worried about the takedown threat. We even saw it in the first fight against Kamaru Usman. He managed to pull out the Hail Mary win in that fight, but I've seen a pattern in his career over the years where he becomes tentative against wrestlers and grapplers, and that's what Sean Brady's strength is, right? And if Leon Edwards wants to get himself back in the title picture, this is a fight that he can't lose. He can't afford to lose. And the reason why I'm worried about, apart from that aspect that I've just mentioned, I've seen too many excuses from Leon Edwards. And I say this in the nicest possible way, because like I say, he's my favourite fighter. But win or lose, I hear him talk about, oh, that wasn't the best of me because of the altitude, or I've got a slight niggle, or whatever. There's always a reason why he didn't perform at his peak, right? And for him to beat Sean Brady, I feel as if he needs to perform at his peak. So the point I'm trying to make is, it's time to put up or shut up, really, innit? Like, you can't always have an excuse after a fight. You can't always have perfect conditions. You've got to do what you need to do under any circumstances. Do you know what I mean? So with that being said, this is a very difficult opponent, a hungry opponent, someone that's obviously been looking at Leon Edwards for a number of years, that I need to fight this guy, I need to beat this guy. And I don't know whether Sean Brady's ever been on Leon Edwards' radar. Not that that makes a huge amount of difference, but the point I'm trying to make is I don't want to hear any excuses. I want to see the best of Leon Edwards come March 22, I think it is. And I want him to prove why he's still one of the top welterweights in the world. Now let's circle back, shall we, to Ilia Topuria against Islam. One of the things that I've seen online, two theories about all of this speculation. One thing that I've seen people say is, oh, if Ilia Topuria was going to get a title shot, they would have announced it now. I don't agree with that, simply because Islam's got Ramadan coming up. He'll be out for a month, from the end of February to the end of March, I believe Ramadan is. And then he'll need a training camp, which is 2.5 months. That sets you up perfectly for International Fight Week. And to me, Ilia Topuria against Islam on International Fight Week that's a good enough fight for that card, if we're not going to get Aspinall against John Jones, which is looking more and more likely not to be happening during that period, right? So if you've got events happening in Vegas between now and then, where tickets haven't gone on sale yet, why would you announce Islam against Ilia? You will let people buy tickets for the events before that and then announce it. That's the whole point of these videos that Dana White puts out, it's not just to let us know who's fighting, it's to let us know these are the fights on these events, tickets on sale now, guys. That's the primary reason for these videos. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. And what was the other thing I was gonna say? I don't know if I said it earlier in this video or not, but the point I was gonna make is Islam's said a number of times that I've given a number of featherweights opportunities to fight me at lightweight, but I want the opportunity to go up to welterweight and challenge for that belt, right? And I agree, right? I agree with that outlook, because if you look at it, in my opinion, Islam is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. He's on a really long winning streak. He's beaten everyone in front of him. So he's justified in wanting to go up to welterweight. And then I also saw on social media, and again, I don't know how true this is, but apparently Bilal Muhammad has unfollowed all of Khabib and his camp, which obviously Islam is part of, on social media. So there might be a bit of trouble brewing there, and it might be that Islam is plotting a move up to welterweight to try and become a champ. But all of that's conjecture and speculation. I've got a meeting shortly. You know what? I was actually meant to record a video today about the PFL, Don Davis and Aaron Pico, and the debacle that PFL were having with all of the big stars. Well, I say big stars. All of the bigger names that were previously on the Bellator roster, right? I was going to make a video about that. But then Uncle Dana woke me up with all of these fight announcements, and I've had to change my plans. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about what I think in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, like it, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys next time.